ready for some black sheep?
What was that?
Exercise is live!
Black Sheep Bravo, broadcasting from red zone to green zone and everywhere in between. Always armed.
You got it on Black Sheep Bravo, here broadcasting on Armed Forces Radio Network, and just recently picked up on the Veterans Radio Syndicate. I am Spaniard. Along with me today is Trouble. Our tech guru, Max, is here with us, and out in the field today is Crash working on a project. Say, you still out there, Crash?
I am. I'm still here. I'm out on the street right now.
Roger that. All right, we got a couple things we're going to talk about today, so it's going to get a little ugly, so stick around. For those that are just joining us, we also are going live on Facebook. For those of you who are new to that, you can check it out right now. We're going on live, so if you want to call in as well, give us a shout out. We're going to be talking about a couple things today in regards to our candidates, our presidential candidates, and Trouble's going to start us off with some of his things that are on his mind. So what do you got, Trouble?
All right, so Bernie Sanders is out there. He's trying to do good in the world. So he's talking about strengthening the VA healthcare system. He wants to bring in 27 new medical facilities. He's trying to create about a $5 billion with a B, to hire more doctors and nurses to care for the surging number of veterans returning from wars. So
we're talking about Bernie, right?
Yeah,
Bernie.
we're gonna touch on Bernie. We're gonna give him a little feel.
Whatever.
We're gonna talk about Trump and what he wants to do for the VA and what he wants to do as the potential commander in chief.
All right. So what really strikes out in you when you talked about Bernie Sanders? What's the one thing that pops in your head?
My question is he gonna give us all weed first and foremost?
Is he?
Oh, it'd be
if
nice.
that's the case, then
it'd be
yeah,
nice.
then
That'll heal a
lot
of negative feelings going on. Get a couple munchies going on.
Well, I was reading some of that article, and he was talking about the key actions and what he's going to do. Everybody, all the candidates, and I don't get it, but they're always talking about making America great. We're going to fix America. We're going to do this. But no one's really talking about how.
The process.
Yeah, like, okay, it's like I'm going to build a house. Hey, I'm going to build a house for everybody. Here's what I'm going to do. This is going to be great. Okay, well, how am I going to do that? One, I got to raise money. I got to hire contractors. So every time I hear this, it just strikes a nerve with me, man. I don't know if
now, you know what?
I'm bitter or what.
Trump actually did that. He did give us a how he was going to do it. When he was talking about building his wall, he said he was going to make Mexico pay for it. Yeah. So when somebody like Trump actually does give us a how, it's the most ludicrous, ridiculous thing you've ever heard. But
are you going to believe that, though? This is what people don't understand. They're hearing all this rhetoric. They're hearing all this hoopla. We're going to go. But are people really buying this stuff?
Obviously, due to the fact of where the voting is going, they're believing it. The problem is he doesn't even realistically know how he's going to do it. He's just making a bunch of claims. Mm-hmm. And that was easy to do as a businessman in the private sector. It's another thing to make all these claims, say I'm going to do this, that, and the other, and then actually put it into action and in the actual government and policies and legislation. It's one thing to just say you're the head dog, you're the top dude in charge of your own business, and you can make those directions. Right. But when you're talking about doing this kind of thing in politics, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Are we talking Sanders or are we talking Trump?
We're talking Trump right there.
All right.
Now, Sanders, on the other hand, he at least has some knowledge. He's been in Washington for over 20 years now, mm-hmm. Very easily. So at least he has knowledge of the ins and outs. But the problem, like you said, is they are giving us the tail end of, we're just going to do this without a process.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, if they gave us a process now, it would scare us.
Yeah.
We'd probably be like, no, you're going to end up raising taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to end up taking more money some kind of way.
Yeah, but it's happening every day.
Or you're gonna shut.
Say it's different.
And this is the thing: the money's got to come from somewhere. It's either going to come from taxes, or you're going to shut down certain help projects.
Speaking of help, this show here we're starting today was kind of based on what Crash did yesterday. Now I'm going to bring Crash back on here in a second. He's out on the road, little Recon Bravo out there, but he got involved yesterday. He was approached by the local county sheriff to help a veteran in need. We went above and beyond it as far as my book. But the problem is, the actual problem that he had faced was trying to get a veteran who was homeless, get him some shelter. And the process is such bull, really, to get a veteran who is in need. And you know what, Par, are you still there?
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you went through yesterday about helping out this veteran?
So yesterday afternoon, well, let me rephrase that. The day before yesterday, the sheriff's office came by my house and asked me if I would go talk to this individual based on me recently retiring, being active with the veteran community, with the non-for-profits, the radio show, and everything else I've been doing. So I agreed. I went out there and spoke to the individual and realized he was homeless. He had been living in the woods. So I built a rapport with him briefly and started the ball rolling to try and get him into a veteran's home.
And how difficult was that for you?
Man, I don't think a guy that isn't homeless could have got that task done. So basically, I don't know what their definition is of homeless. My definition of homeless is obviously somebody that doesn't have a freaking home, right?
Right.
Somebody living in the woods, somebody living, dumpster diving, so they don't have the means for some of the things that they were asking. So in order to get accepted to this veterans home, which is like 250 acres, it's got a beautiful building, they've got doctors on staff, they've got a 120-day program that they give a room to the individual, they feed them 3 hot meals a day, and they do voc rehab, they get them a job, and they line them up with a house at no cost to them at the end of the program.
Uh-huh.
So it's a pretty amazing place to begin with. Now, here's where the problem we came into. They wanted the individual to have a current chest x-ray to check for tuberculosis.
Okay.
They wanted medical records. They wanted a DD-214. Luckily, the guy had that on him. Social Security card. Luckily, he had that on him. But my question to her was, what is your definition of a homeless individual? Guy, gal, doesn't matter, monkey, chipmunk. Homeless is
Goat.
homeless, right?
Right.
So I asked her, I said, if somebody's truly homeless, how do they have the ability to do any of this stuff? And she's like, well, he has to have VA care, and he should have this. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. His medical records aren't going to frickin' parachute into the wood line and just drop into his bag. Somebody's not just going to randomly come out with an x-ray machine and x-ray this guy's chest.
Right.
You need referrals, you need some kind of insurance to pay for it. So I basically picked up the individual, let him crash at a buddy's property for the night with some water, like fresh water, hose, toilet, whatnot. And the next morning, I picked him up. We went to the Veteran Service offices in Rensselaer yesterday to get like this mountain of I'm trying to watch my language here. I'm so pissed off about it.
Yeah, tell us how you feel. Don't worry about it.
Of stuff for this guy, right?
Right.
And by the end of the day, for us, it was like 2:30. We had already accomplished everything they wanted, but then, of course, the lady said, well, I can't do anything today. I'm like, well, you guys don't book for 2 hours. Well, I've got a lot going on here, so this is 2 days they blew us off. And then, so what I did was I called James Chancellor out of up north. He works with another non-for-profit.
Yeah, good guy. Real good guy.
And he basically paid for, you guys still there?
Yeah, we got you.
Hang on. I don't know why you guys flipped over, but basically paid for a room for this guy to stay the night.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I feel terrible for a homeless vet.
Now, see, here's my question here for anybody. I mean, is it just because he's a veteran he's got to go through all this stuff? How would a normal person, I would not, now I got to use this carefully, not normal. A civilian, an average Joe, not even average, above average, below average, doesn't matter. How does that person who is homeless? Do they got to go through the same kind of stuff?
You know what? I think it has to do with the certain type of facility that you're trying to enter.
Yeah.
Because a church facility,
Yeah.
or church-backed facility for those one-night stays, that might be a much simpler, easier process. Once you show up, it's I guess it's supposed to be obvious if you've shown up that you must not have somewhere to go.
So what really pisses me off is that, again, you got a veteran who's down on his luck, who is living in the woods, and you're going to put him through all this stuff.
Well, then the other side is when PAR went through the list of everything that they offered.
Yeah.
So if the average Joe goes to the local Catholic charity and he's trying to get a room for a night, he just got a room for a night.
Yeah.
He's probably not getting x-rays. He's not getting medical attention. He's just got, here's a bed. Don't bother the other people. Don't mess with the females around here. Don't mess with the little kids. Stay here. Okay. Take a night. Get some sleep. Get back out there.
I got a solution. For that. This is while I was taking a shower doing my manscaping on Monday. I thought about this. I'm going to run for office, right? I'm going to try to get a bill passed that our driver's license that we have. Some of them, I know some states are doing this. They have
the stamp.
They have the stamp where it says veteran. There should be a bill passed that if a veteran is homeless or he needs a place to stay, there should be a separate fund somehow just for the veteran care, because we know the VA is not doing anything. We know that these local organizations aren't doing anything to help. But to say, all right, hey, you're homeless, go to a local Holiday Inn, whatever holiday, suites, all these different Hampton Inns, all these different places.
A national pot.
Anywhere. You go in there and they say, hey, look, I just
sounds
need a place to stay for tonight.
I like it.
$20.
Where's the money coming from?
That's up to us. I think it's up to the veteran community to stand together and say, let's start a fund.
So you're saying from even the brand new recruits, once, say, even if it's once a year, once a month, a couple checks a year, hey, $20 is going to your fellow veteran.
Exactly. Something.
You know what?
Something minor.
I honestly don't think anybody who actually crosses that line and gets committed and makes that journey through boot camp, I don't think they would mind.
Not at all.
And you know what?
Let me take it a step further. Like this not to bash Illinois, but they have this whole tollway system.
Oh my God!
And that should have been temporary. And now where they're jacking it up, now they want to tax that. Why doesn't proceeds from those toll booths take a proceed from that, put it into a fund, a veteran relief fund?
How about some
go.
veterans get together? Oh, what if the state gave us one toll booth where we can just collect and support our veterans?
That would be ideal.
Oh, that would be so.
That would be ideal. Why won't they do that? Because again,
even if it was just a certain amount of pennies on whatever they collect, even if they gave us
2%,
2%,
something,
give us
throw
2%
us a bone.
that for this is Veterans Month, and for this month we're going to take 2 cents out of every toll that's collected and create a fund and give it back to our state's veterans.
Because similar to Crash, I came across a veteran down in his luck Marine, was living in his van, had a service dog. He was feeding his service dog scraps from garbage cans. He would not ask for help. I had to track this guy. I was following him around, and I found out he was living at a truck stop. And I finally said, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm tired of asking for help because I never get it." That is wrong. I would love to curse right now, but that is just so damn wrong on so many levels. We finally were able to find this guy a hotel room, and eventually get him into an apartment. But Crash, what did you have to add to that?
This is where I really get fired up. I don't know if you guys saw my update video this morning. Probably not. It was just getting uploaded as you guys were doing sound checks. But
I only watch porn.
So, well, believe me, I wasn't naked in the video.
Damn it.
Where I'm extremely even more disappointed today than I was yesterday with the red tape and the bureaucracy of this entire program for these guys.
Yeah.
Is when I say guys, loose-ended, gals, chipmunks, it means everybody. My problem with this homeless place for these veterans, besides the red tape, is the delay in making it a freaking emergency. Like, this guy needs to get in now.
Right.
I had this guy for the last 48 hours dialed in. Yes, I want to get help. Yes, I want to go in there. Yes. He's excited. He wanted to go fishing on their ponds. He's excited about getting a job. Well, sometime between 0800 this morning and 0930, he basically popped smoke out of the hotel. Now, had they handled this in a timely manner, he'd already be in the homeless place.
Right. Now, are you having any kind of feelings of fear that he may have done something kind of?
Yeah. What was his language?
No.
Like? What was his demeanor?
Is he Is he located yet? Has he been located yet, or what?
No, I've been driving around for the last hour and a half looking for him.
Now, see,
I
again.
figure he's going to be holed up in one of these wood lines over here along 65. But, yeah, no, he's got some issues, and I won't say what they are to respect to his privacy.
Yeah, there's.
I will say he's definitely not a violent individual. He wasn't, you can very easily tell he's not a drug addict. He's just a vet that's been out of the service, living in the woods for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, believe me, the smell was atrocious.
Yeah.
And we kind of joked a bit, and he even offered to ride on top of the truck.
Yeah.
You know, but he said a couple times that he was more comfortable being in the woodland, and I think there's some truth behind that.
Well, yeah.
You know, they get into a comfort zone. They're not having to face their issues or problems. There's no pressure of bills or society. You know, the guy's not married. His parents died. He has no kids.
He's alone.
You know, he can't just keep a job. He just prefers isolation. But
Mm-hmm.
now, sitting in the hotel room last night, I imagine he finally got a hot shower, loved that. But then
Yeah.
after that, his mind probably started spinning. And
Yeah,
he's
like what do I do now?
Yeah.
I got to bug out of here because they're going to put me in a box, you know?
Right.
And that's not the case. But
No.
had that program and had the Veterans Home had their together, he would have gotten in there right away when he was fired up about it, and there wouldn't have been an excuse, or he wouldn't have built up that excuse. So
There should be an end. There should just be an end of all that. They should just be able to have a veteran walk in and say, "I need help," give them the help, and deal with that later. You know,
Right. Get him in process, and then work with him to gather that information, because it is not that hard with all the internet and everything being available.
Right.
That you couldn't get them in, get them situated, and say, "Hey, we're going to start.
Urgency.
Get settled in here. We'll come back, get you in an hour, get you something to eat, and then we'll start working on gathering information.
Yeah.
So to get you started, because if he had his Social Security card
He had
on
that.
him,
Yeah, and his DD-214.
and a DD-214, do you know how much you can get done with just that?
Exactly. So what was the holdup? You know, that's what's aggravating nowadays. And so for some of our listeners, I'm sure they could chime in and say, yeah, there are times where I feel isolated, where I feel I don't even want to deal with people anymore, because when I do ask for help, I got to jump through a hoop, I got to stand on one foot, I got to roll around on my head just to get the help that they need, but we're afraid to ask in the first place, and now they're sent to this type of treatment.
It's ridiculous.
Well, and so you hit some really great points, Chapa. And what else frustrates me about this is I asked them if there was any circumstance that expedites this process, and they said, well, yeah, if he's in the emergency room. And I said, well, coincidentally, we're standing in the emergency room right now,
Yeah.
and it still didn't expedite anything. I still got the buck passed, and I was told to call a different lady today because that lady was going to be out of the office today. And so here we are. After even help pushing all this stuff to get his stuff in order, we accomplished the task, and then we're told, but you still can't bring him down tomorrow morning because we still have to review his file.
Ugh.
Why does it sound like a Wounded Warriors project?
It does.
It just sounds, and the VA all over again.
It does.
So is this place actually run by veterans, or are we talking about civilians?
It's a state-run home, isn't it?
I can't say for several legality reasons which home it is.
All right.
I will say it's large enough and funded by organizations that fall under governmental aid.
Yeah.
And I'll leave that loose-ended. I will say there is accountability down there. I will say that video I posted on my Facebook page yesterday, Albert Crash Par, that video's got about 3,000 views already.
Wow, 3,000.
A ton of interest and energy. There's a lot of people sharing it. A lot of people care about this guy that don't know him. But more importantly, one of the contacts that called me asked me if I would attend a seminar coming up that involves all the key people that implement change. It's June 8th. I'm going to go to that. So this isn't the end of Barry's story, and I'm going to try and find him today and try and get him situated. We have a plan B if he can't get into the veterans home.
Right.
Sadly, we're having to turn to private organizations to square this guy away.
Yeah, whatever it takes to win, brother.
Oh, man.
Whatever it takes to win. So, yeah, we'll check in with you later. Let us know. We're going to press on. We're going to move on to another topic. Actually, we're going to take a quick break. So stick around. We got more to come. So catch you on the flip side.
Ian Ralston was a combat medic who was injured in Iraq. When I met Ian, I knew he had to help him get his housing grant, an auto grant, and every benefit to live as normal a life as possible. And we did.
PVA has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get the care and benefits they've earned.
My name is Jason Stevenson, and I work for Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Paralyzed Veterans of America, changing lives, building futures.
Are you or is someone you know an unemployed veteran? The Veterans Retraining Assistance Program, VRAP, may be able to help. VRAP provides unemployed veterans ages 35 to 60 with up to 12 months of training or education toward a career in a high-demand field. Don't miss out on this limited opportunity. To learn more, please visit benefits.va.gov/VAL. Thank you for your service.
The U.S. Military All-Stars is embarking on their 26th annual Red, White, and Blue Tour across America. We are the only team playing all active duty and veterans from all branches of the military. We are traveling 12 states this year. We have a call to arms and are looking for players from around the world. We are a non-profit, and we also would like to challenge all veterans and baseball fans to show their support. We honor all veterans that have ever worn a uniform in defense of our freedom. Nobody delivers patriotism better. Go to usmilitaryallstars.com. If you're a player, join us. If you're a supporter, click on Donate. God bless you, and we'll see you at the ballpark.
Are you a veteran returning from Afghanistan or Iraq and struggling with significant readjustment issues? If you're dealing with the effects of trauma or alcohol or drug abuse, facing marriage difficulties, or wanting to rebuild ties with your children, Peninsula Counseling Center can help and can restore hope to your life. Peninsula Counseling Center is a New York State licensed nonprofit mental health center. Call them at 516-569-6600 to schedule an appointment. If you're not covered by insurance, services will be free.
Welcome back to Black Sheep Bravo. We're in episode 7, touching up on some key issues concerning our veterans and the candidates who are talking about how they're going to improve veterans' lives. And just a recap to let everyone know, Crash is on location out in the field trying to locate a veteran in need. So hopefully everybody caught that story. So again, touching back on our candidates, we're going to start off with Ted Cruz, how he's talking about securing America. Now that's a pretty hot topic for some of us veterans here, because we're talking about how he's going to rebuild the military. And part of that comes money, and it also talks about guns. And it's been a big topic of discussion here at Black Sheep Bravo about different types of issues concerning gun control. And, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And with that, Trouble, what's on your mind about gun control? I know you've been itching about it, so tell me what's on your mind.
Well, let's start with Cruz's policy, and at least his stance on policy. He wants to restore America's safety and security by rebuilding our military. All for that?
Yeah, I agree.
How are you going to do it?
How?
So, first off, he wants to explain it. Okay, defending the country is expensive,
yes,
but try not defending it. It would be a lot more expensive if we don't defend it the right way. So we have to rebuild our military.
How, though? How are we defending it the right way?
Well,
in your mind, in your opinion.
In my mind, the way to do it is obviously we really need to go back to tapping the National Guard, making sure they're trained up, replenishing equipment. Mm-hmm. That's going to be that's an invaluable source where You know, if we don't have enough equipment and we don't have the right equipment in the right person's hands,
Right.
You're not going to do much.
So Cruz is saying we have to strengthen our military.
We have to strengthen our military.
So that we defend. In your opinion, though, what do we need right now? We just got intel that we're about to get attacked. Okay, we don't know who, but we got intel. How do we defend our country right now? What do we need to do?
First of all, the first and foremost, information sharing.
Okay,
that's where we need to start at, because after the Paris attacks, there's such a breakdown in international communication where if we're not communicating with France, we're not communicating with England, we're not communicating where these refugees, these freedom fighters are, these other countries where they're infiltrating and slowly making their way either to America, or at least they're setting up camp, they're setting up cells in these other countries. And it's not just America that's being attacked. It's obviously these European countries that are aligned with American interests. They're being attacked. So when you're the first line of defense is communication.
Okay.
That is first. That should be the utmost.
But we already know they failed. France failed. Belgium failed. They all failed. So we want to take their lead.
No. We have to take the lead, and we're not taking their lead. We are taking the lead.
Right.
On the international, we should be taking the lead on international communication, where it becomes a safety net for all these countries, all these allies. We need to open up the lines of communication between the FBI, CIA.
I think they're doing that, but
no,
we're sad.
The problem is they're not.
Look at this whole Apple thing with trying to break into a phone. Our society, our American, some of the American corporations have gotten so soft because they didn't want to allow the FBI to break into that phone.
But the thing was, they're at least from what I'm told and what I believe, Apple's issue is the coding that comes with that.
Yeah.
Once you break down that coding, any hacker, you know, they can get into your phone. Well, they've technically been getting into phones for how long? So
exactly.
Every week, some celebrities got naked photos getting leaked.
Right.
So give it a rest. Physically, these systems are not hack proof.
Right.
So if you need to open up a phone, or the government needs to open up a phone to stop a terrorist act,
do it.
Domestic violence act from happening, you should be all for it.
We should.
Damn your little codes.
But we didn't. It took the FBI to outsource, and who knows how much manpower and how much money that cost just to do that. So again, we're going back, not to pick on you, but you said communication. To me, I don't think communication is the key thing, because people don't listen to the Americans anyway. A lot of the countries around here kind of despise the United States,
which is true.
So my quick thought on that is we need more guns.
No.
Yes.
No. Come on now.
We need high-powered rifles, assault rifles. I think every American here who does not have a felony.
Yeah, we need more guns, like we need more swinging. That's really
well. Let's strap a gun with them then.
Well, you know what? They're just as dangerous because we're overpopulating and losing the ground, and we're taking away from the natural resources. But anyway,
that's how we strengthen the military, is by strengthening the people.
We're not fighting. We're not fighting wars like we used to. Right. The way we fight this war, these current modern day wars, is going to be through communication, and you have to be able to stop the act.
But
prior
who are we communicating with?
I can have the biggest gun in the world. I'll create a Death Star and shoot a beam of some laser beam, but if I don't know where this guy is, if I'm not communicating with that, this guy got up, he got on a plane, he flew from Seattle, he flew to the East Coast, and now he's flying over to southern France, and he's going to take this bomb, he's going to pick up this dirty bomb and take it to the Coliseum and blow up everything.
That's their problem.
Then it's anybody aligned with Western interest.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of our problems. That is why we have a UN.
I disagree.
No, that's why we have a UN. Well, then what's
the UN ain't doing anything. They're not doing anything. So this guy
lack
flies,
of communication.
Yeah, but this guy flies from Seattle to the East Coast, then he goes to France to pick up a dirty bomb to go blow it up. That's their fault. That's the security.
It's also our fault for allowing if a known terrorist suspect.
So is this suspect an American citizen or is he?
It doesn't matter.
But
does it matter?
Yeah, it does. Because then we have to protect our own.
Okay, but you're protecting your own, and you're also protecting your allies. We have to have each other's back.
True. But again, that's what our candidates are talking about. Like Cruz is talking about, we have to strengthen our military. Let's strengthen the military, but in the same token, let's talk about defense. He's talking about that was the big topic of discussion was how do we make our defenses? It costs money to not have a defense rather than strengthen the military. To me, that doesn't make any sense. Cruz is listening to some bad people.
Well, he's also listening to Trump because now he just introduced a bill. Well, not just. He introduced this bill. It's called the Terrorist Refugee Infiltration Prevention Act of 2015.
Okay.
Which would immediately bar refugees to the United States from any country, such as Iraq or Syria, that contains substantial territory controlled by a foreign terrorist organization. Not every Muslim from these little areas is out to get us.
True, I could see that.
It's mind-boggling to think that it's just freaking America was built on being a melting pot for people who want to get away from
oppression.
Right.
But see, here's the thing. The oppression is coming here. Those people that you just talked about.
The oppressed are coming here.
The oppressed, no. We're talking people who do the oppressed.
These
terrorist cells.
Which is true. But yet and still, you can track them through communication. I promise you can.
Okay.
You can, like I said, you can have the biggest gun, but if you don't know where to point it, then what's the use of that big gun?
What about a CIA, the DIA, the FBI, all these different agencies that are boots on the ground? They're hiding behind bushes. They're cracking the codes to find out what's going on. Why rely on somebody else when we could do the work ourselves?
Because we're just not going to get on a plane and go into somebody else's country and say, well, I'm here to kill this guy because he's going to do this. Well,
we don't need to go to any country. Why can't we just stay here?
We can do that through communication. we gotta still pick up a phone. We gotta send a message. We gotta do something through the line, open the lines of communication to be able to do this.
Right.
And like you can say, Trump and Cruz can say, we're just going to deny anybody from coming into the U.S. soil that comes from these countries that have where they're melting pots or they're hot spots for terrorist organizations. But at the same time, we're not going to just like I said, everybody from these hot spots is not out to get us.
True. Okay.
So
granted, I'll take that. But there has to be a balance between privacy and security. Are we going to give up information that we know to somebody else?
We should be giving up a certain amount and a certain level of information where, like I said, if criminal is hopping a plane from Seattle going to Miami who plans on going to the south of France to pick up a dirty bomb, somebody should have shot a message to some. First of all, he shouldn't have been able to get on the goddamn airplane. But if you did let him on there, shoot a message to somebody over in Paris. Okay. And tell him, hey, this guy,
but I think we are doing that.
You know what? No, that's the problem. We're not, and that's why the funny thing is when in the aftermath of the Paris attacks, there were. I saw some interviews where there were some of those guys we knew about them,
right?
But due to the fact that they were in Paris at that time, we lost track.
Two letters, UN. They got involved. They were saying, no, we have to play nice. Let's not do anything. The wolves are among us, man. The wolves are among us, and
They are.
and we're trying to play nice. We're trying to play. Let's go back into history when England was here. You know, when our country first started, this great country was being developed, and you have these British soldiers going into farmers' lands and terrorizing, raping the women, killing the children. They're doing all these different things, and because of the fact that we're building a new society, this is a new country, but yet you have this ruling, governing body that is deciding that they're going to bring their own views back to this new land, and now we got fed up. Okay, so we decided to take a stand. We said enough is enough. I think we're kind of seeing that here again, where we need to say enough is enough. Let us focus on taking care of business right here first. Let us focus on what we need to get done. The candidates are talking about taking care of our veterans. Maybe we need to do that first. Let's take care of our veterans. Let's take care of the issues that are at hand right now. There are other countries out there that are dealing with the terrorist threat. Why don't we say, hey, why don't you guys take care of your own? We got stuff we got to take care of here first.
The problem is this: as soon as you turn a blind eye to that subject, that's when all hell breaks loose. So
how is it going to break loose?
All right. So go back to 9/11.
Not 7/11.
Not 7/11.
9/11.
But 9/11. All right. So we're sitting there. We're trying to get out of this economic downturn. We're so focused on our economy, and we lose sight. We drop the ball from top to bottom, from president, executive, to the intelligence community. They drop the ball because everybody's so focused on the economy. That's basically the scenario that happened.
True.
And heck, even what was it, the shoe bomber?
Yeah.
Who dropped the ball? Wasn't he on the no-fly list? Do you remember?
I think so. I think so. He was.
If I remember correcely, and I could be wrong.
That's because we got laxed.
Exactly, because our focus was where?
Everywhere else.
We're too big of a country. It's, yes, you need to focus on self.
Yeah.
America needs to look in the mirror and focus on self. But it's almost like the bank is too big to fail. Like, literally, we can't just focus on that we can't have tunnel vision like that.
Right.
Yeah, we can use majority of our focus on self, but we still have to have a watchful eye.
So is Cruz on the right track here or not? He's talking about securing America.
Well, first of all, anybody who sounds like Trump is not on the right track to me. So,
well, speaking of Trump, let's talk about Trump a little bit. He's one of his key points here is the veteran situation. He's talking. He made up a good point about there's over 300,000 veterans that have died while waiting. I don't know if that was in 1 year or a series of years. The press release was not very descriptive, but again, needless to say, just to say it, 300,000. That is a lot. That's way too. That's way too many. But again, how does this affect veterans?
Now, you're looking at Trump, and of course, he's saying the fluffy stuff. Yes, we need to revamp the VA, and we need to support our troops. That's all the fluffy stuff. The down and dirty is the process of getting this done. Now, how is it going to help when you get down to brass tacks? You got to open up the line once again. Open up the lines of communication. If veterans are screaming and hollering that nothing's getting done, or once again, even just like what Crash is going through,
right?
If we're still having that issue, then that has to be communicated back.
But here's my question, though: as veterans, us here sitting here, do we wait for help, or do we say, you know what, enough's enough? Like I mentioned earlier, enough's enough. I'm going to put on my boots. I'm going to strap them up, and I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to go do what I got to do for myself.
There are enough retired colonels, generals who have become highly successful in the private business sector
Yeah.
who need to take the time and say, hey, I need to go back and reach out to my fellow veterans who are not doing as well as I am. And if we can get 4 or 5 highly successful veterans, where is Colin Powell at? Why is he not setting up?
Well, I think he knows it's going to be a battle.
It's a battle, but if Colin Powell could lead a couple of former generals who are successful, have been successful, now retired.
What about Oliver North? Is he still alive?
He's somewhere.
Yeah.
Where are these guys at? They're not. They should be running the Wounded Warrior Project.
Exactly. That's a great point.
That to me would be a successful model of, or at least the start of, real help to veterans. Where if Colin Powell, Oliver North, anybody of real substance got in charge of the Wounded Warrior Project, instead of these civilians who just found another way to tap into a big pot of gold and start pocketing and lining their pockets. It's like, oh, General Matisse.
Yeah. That's
General Matisse.
USMC General.
Hey, any Marine.
Any Marine should be president.
Every you know what? There should be a Marine president every third term.
Yeah.
Every third president should be a Marine veteran.
Well, going back to your point, Trouble, was you had talked about corporate leaders. And again, this may be a sore subject for some that are listening, but the VA secretary, Robert McDonald, used to be a corporate executive. And he is a West Point grad. He was an officer. What he is doing now, is that an improvement, or do you think he still needs a lot of work?
It's an improvement, obviously.
Is he still a problem?
Now, it's too early to tell, I want to say.
Okay, I'll take that.
You got to give him a full chance to right the ship. And if he's the start he's got going on,
yeah,
I don't doubt he's gonna right the ship.
Right.
Now, is he gonna be able to is he gonna be the one that takes it the whole way? Probably not. He'll have a successor soon.
Sure.
But if he gets the ship righted and his successor is somebody of real substance, and when I say real substance, I want a real vet. Now, don't give me nobody strictly from the, brought up out of the school system and went to Duke, Harvard, this, that, and the other, and has no real. I need a veteran.
Right.
Give me somebody with some grit.
Going back to Trump's plan in helping the veteran,
if you want to call it a plan, loosely termed.
He talks about firing corrupt and incompetent employees at the VA.
Oh my God, he's like the most incompetent. You know how many? Okay, so I'm
lay it on me, Trouble. Lay it on me.
So I'm watching. It was on CNN or something. How basically everything that he supposedly built is actually built by other businesses. He just throws his name on it. All right. So if he's just running around throwing his brand name on everything, and it's built from, a polish, getting my bullets ready, I'm going in. How is he? That is the biggest hypocritical stance or statement I could ever come across. He's talking about firing and getting rid of all these corrupt people. Well, it takes one to know one.
Well, okay, point taken. But again, is that going to solve the problem? Let's get rid of all the incompetent people. Is that going to solve everybody's problem?
No, it's not, and that's the sad thing. You get rid of one incompetent person, and you're going to bring in the next corrupt person, and that's how it goes. Because money is the root of all evil.
Speaking of money, how about Hillary?
Oh, she's got money and sex appeal like no other.
Her thought was, again, trying to keep America safe and secure by defending core values. What are the core values? What is that? What does that mean? To me, my core values are a lot different than yours or probably the Amish. It's going to be different. And where is she coming with this?
You know what? I don't care. So long as Bill is back there somewhere telling her what to do, I'm good, because Bill is the man.
He was the man. I
still
think
is the
gone.
man.
I think he's gone a little senile lately. I don't
Dude,
know. Have you seen him lately?
He balanced the budget. He gave Bush a surplus, and he got some special attention.
Okay.
That good special attention.
Yeah, I'm
If you
sure
know
he
what
did.
talking about.
I'm sure he did.
Bill was up in there talking. I said, I just balanced the budget. Somebody give me some head.
Yeah.
bullets. Give me some bullets.
And she also talked about strengthening alliances. This kind of goes back to your comment about communication. Is that really a high on the priority list to strengthen alliances?
It is. At this point in time, with everything that's going on and all the attacks and the terrorist issues we have, yes. And if you have a Trump oh my God, if Trump is the commander in chief, he will be the commander in chief of one not being able to reach across the aisle and create alliances. Now, supposedly him and Putin are kind of buddy, but you're talking about two hardline people who
That
basically it'd be scary. But you know what? I'll give them this. If you're going to align yourself with a country which has could be a real threat to the states, and if you're going to be buddies with that guy, I get it. Go ahead, do that. But when it comes to the broader reach of alliances, where you're talking France, England,
so are those
China, Japan,
who in your opinion, who would be our top 3 alliances that we need to strengthen?
Oh, we got to strengthen our alliance, our relationship with Japan and China, because we do. You're talking between just the military presence of China and Japan. They are real nuclear powers, obviously. They have the numbers, they have the manpower, they have the military. They have the military they are a real threat to us.
Yeah.
So you're talking. So China, Japan, Russia.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So those are your top 3 that you have. We got to be buddy.
So going back to your communication argument, are we not communicating with them now?
Are we communicating well? Because we're communicating on a certain level.
Yeah.
The question is how in depth we are, how well we are, and it's gonna suck if Trump is voted in office. There are going to be some alliances that are going to just
under the Obama regime right now. I mean, we got some stuff going down in the South China Sea. So how is that building an alliance if we got ships and troops kind of standby in the South China Sea? How does that taste?
The likelihood is this. The likelihood is that everything gets settled behind closed doors versus between a firefight between my ship and your ship is big. My ship is bigger than your ship, and your ship ain't. I got bullets coming.
Yeah,
I know it.
You're gonna have to do push-ups later.
I'm gonna have to do some push-ups, but seriously, I'll trust in the fact that my president, who is much better than that last guy, that last chicken farmer, him and Crash can hang out.
I think they did.
Those are farm boys for real.
They were both on FarmersOnly.com.
Oh God, yeah,
they're buddies.
So I can at least.
We're not promoting FarmersOnly.com, by the way.
No, JDate. So I trust in my president that at least a common knowledge will be, or a common bond will be created. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out before a bullet flies.
Sure.
Because at least this president is not about pushing the red button off jump.
But we've gotten really close with Russia because, I mean, your boy Putin, it was just in the news the other day. They were doing they were buzzing the ships over there.
True.
In the sea over there.
But my president will use his verbal skills, whereas Trump, he just runs. Oh my God! Like, did you hear what he said over in Pennsylvania?
No, why don't you enlighten me?
So he's in Pennsylvania doing an event, trying to raise some, raise whatever flag he's got going on with that little orange toupee he's got. So he's in Pennsylvania. He says, I know about Pennsylvania. I know a lot about Pennsylvania. Rick Pitino. Well, are we done with that thing yet? Like, that's what you know about Pennsylvania? All you know about Pennsylvania is Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino.
And that issue of his former assistant coach.
Oh, you're
slapping
thinking Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Paterno.
Well, no. Oh, yeah. Joe. I'm sorry. Joe Paterno. Not Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino is he's coach at what? Louisville?
Who knows?
No.
Man, we don't talk about the nifty Lions coach, man.
But Joe Paterno.
Joe Paterno.
Big boy Joe. rest in peace.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's like Joe Paterno. Are we done with that yet? Like, why are you bringing up Joe Paterno?
Well, he's a go-getter, right? I mean, Trump. We all know he's got the mouth. He's got the ambition. Yeah, is it going to be scary?
He does not have the. He doesn't have the swag.
Yeah,
he just doesn't.
But Sanders does.
Sanders
I wanted to retouch on Sanders.
I bet you want to touch on Sanders.
Oh, not in that way.
You know what?
But
you
for the
ruffle that hair up.
Yeah, look at that hair.
But
for the sake of his contribution of what he wants to do to improve veterans' lives, he has written. My English is going out the door here, but he wants to expand and fund a VA to improve vet claims. Now, again, this has been going on for years. Why hasn't it been done already?
Because everything's easier said than done.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys this, and Max, you could chime in if you'd like, if you have an answer. But the government, okay, we have the government. There's so many different things that's in control over certain things. Can you name a couple agencies that we could do without right now that would solve that conundrum of hiring good employees at the VA to, one, expand and improve the veteran claims, and B, get the care that the veterans need?
Jeez.
You're on the air, trouble. Which agency do we get rid of?
God, what agency can we get rid of? First of all, I don't need. How many agencies are out there?
Too many.
All right, it's too. That's first and foremost. Too many government agencies out there. Now, I understand that there are ideologies about big government, small government.
Answer the question, trouble. What agency do we get rid of?
I want to talk like a politician, and I just want to dance around the question.
I'm talking to a veteran.
Give me a minute of dancing.
All right, we'll come back to you. How about Max? Does Max have anything to chime in?
He's got nothing.
No, because the Amish don't have politics. They just exchange cow milk.
They have beard rubbing contests.
There it is.
What they have.
They tickle each other on the nether regions.
Contest.
The nether, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's how they saw the differences.
A government agency that we can do without.
Oh, I can't believe you got to think about this. I mean, I got an answer right away.
I can only think of the big ones.
Which ad? Yeah, think of the big ones.
The big
you think
ones?
About my big one all the time. So what's this going to change?
Yeah, but I think about the big one, how it's not that big in comparison to my big black one.
It always got to be a black thing.
Oh, it's a black thing. All right, so in a government agency that we can get rid of.
3, 2, 1.
The NASA guys that aren't really doing much that ran the Google.
Okay.
All right.
So NASA. That's your answer.
Because are we really trying to get to Mars? Are you going to Mars?
No.
I'm not going to Mars. I have no desire to go to Mars.
If I was intended to be on another planet, I would have been born on there.
Right. So we can go ahead and let NASA go.
Good answer. That's a good answer. Wow, I never really thought about that. See, my pick was the IRS.
No,
let's get rid of the IRS.
I mean, as much as I agree with you, and I would love to not pay taxes, but we got to fund the country.
Well, we will, but why spend money on employing all these people just to snoop? Why can't we snoop ourselves? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, have you seen some of the directors' salaries? That's what I'm saying. Use some of that salary to hire some more VA employees.
You know
That's
what?
All I gotta say.
You know what those salaries were going at NASA? Those brainiacs over there?
Yeah. Well, put those brainiacs to work.
To real work. And figure out what the hell color Trump is. That's real work.
That's it. Or to reduce the cankle size of Hillary. I mean, there's different things you could utilize that brain.
So I got another one for you for government agencies we can get rid of.
Okay.
All right. We'll take the brainiacs that got fired from NASA because we're going to close up NASA.
Got it.
And we're going to put them in charge of the FDA.
Okay. All right. I could see that.
Why? Because every 10 years, they tell me the last 10 years I was eating the wrong thing. and it's pissing me off. Like, I was eating red meat for a good, healthy 10 years. I'm crapping good. I'm moving around good. Nothing's bothering me. And then, now the FDA says I can't eat red meat. It was tainted. It was slapped the wrong way. They got what was that, man-cow disease or whatever. They ate the wrong thing. Like, I was good. I was grilling good. My seasoning was perfect. My marinade was it was scrumptious. And now you're telling me my steak is no good.
Man, when I was in Camp Pendleton, School of Infantry, U.S. Marine Corps, I ate some tainted something.
You ate some taint?
It was some tainted meat.
Tainted.
That
you
was
didn't
a
eat the taint. Okay.
Horrible experience.
Don't eat
sorry.
the taint. It was
just a flashback.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. So kind of recapping here earlier for those of you guys just joining us, we had Crash out in the field out trying to help a homeless veteran. Hopefully he was able to locate that veteran and find him the help that he needed. But again, it's one of those things that we're still running into. The problems that we see in terms of the veteran issues that are at hand is homelessness. We are seeing it way too often. And for those of you guys listening in, send us some input. Tell me if you've ever experienced any problems where you needed help and you had to go through so much red tape, and tell us about how you got through that. The other thing too is our candidates. We were talking about our candidates today and how they're helping out the veteran population, and Trouble here really has his heart set on Hillary, ain't that right?
Yes, my heart and my heart on is set on Hillary.
Hubba hubba.
Kaboom.
So yes, we talked a lot about some good things here. Just to mention, we got recently picked up by Veterans Radio Syndicate. So again, check us out on there. We're going to be coming on Fridays at 2100. So look us up. We'll definitely make sure it's either Eastern time or Central time, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be that's Central
what time zone.
So check us out. Either check it both at 2000 and again at 2100, just to double check. For those of you that are not familiar with that public or that radio program, you want to go ahead and check it out on tune in. It's an app, and then look for Veterans Radio Syndicate as well as Armed Forces Radio Network. We are still on there as well.
We're getting out there.
We're getting out there.
We are getting out there, getting dirty.
So yes, I got to get prepared for a dental appointment. Not too thrilled, but I'm going to give the girl there a really good show. So,
man, I got like 4 hours of French homework I got to get through.
Excellent French. All right. So from all of us here to all of you, smoke them if you got them. And until next time, hoorah.
Stay armed.
Blacksheep Bravo Radio was recorded in Northwest Indiana. The show was produced and directed by Max Bose and hosted by Paul, Albert, and Tony. Until next time, smoke 'em if you got 'em.